Hey guys, today we're gonna watch a New World Order, the Big Tug video, breaking down best and worst conspiracies. Let's get into it.
How many times can a person get tugged? Well, we have found the limit at extratug.com, where you can see exclusive content. Sometimes
This,
stuff doesn't add
this
up, or it
man
does add up in a bad way.
ate
For
my son.
example,
No, I seen that on my, not specifically this guy, but what's it called? On a gas station, I saw a sticker of this format. This man ate my son.
do the letters
I don't know what that
ITANIMULLI mean anything to you? That's right, it's Illuminati spelled backwards. Are you scared yet? Well, if you add .com to the end of that backwards spelling, things get a little bit scarier. If you take that little domain name and throw it into the Google search bar, you will be brought directly to the homepage of the NSA. That's right, everybody, the government is evil. Case closed,
Really?
pussy. That's right, secret societies
Really?
exist. I knew my uncle was onto something when he kept mentioning rock against communism. I'm sure that doesn't have any secret side meaning that's
Rock Against is a powerful white power rock. That's a well. The term skinhead does come from British pop. I think rock music.
Of course, only after a few Mormons. But for many, that redirected domain name was the work of a couple pranksters in Utah, Mormons. But for many people, their brains are too small and pea-like to not freak out over what originally is a joke. The joke is then upgraded to misinformation, which eventually becomes confirmation bias. Which, if you don't know what confirmation bias is, the definition from Google is tendency to search for, interpret, and favor information that confirms our prior beliefs or values. And that leads to
Just like anything in the internet ever.
a bunch of incredibly stupid and unbelievably bad shit happening across this great United States.
I wonder what he's referencing.
So it's kind of hard to know where to stand with these ideas of conspiracy. On the one hand, if you already think the government is controlled by liars from elite backgrounds, which in most respects it is, then imagining them in conspiratorial acts of surveillance and assorted subterfuge is not that big of an intellectual leap. If that sentence sounded too smart for my normal script writing, that's because I didn't write that. Shout out Jimmy for that big word sentence. But
Are they related? Damn.
on the other hand, if you think everything is made up and the points don't matter, then why the fuck would you, like, go to work or pay your taxes, you know? Oh, wait a second. What's that? Oh, do you like you can't biometric sensors that state about any criminal
This is a
at the
long
American
ad.
of your life. Huzzah! 50% of all Americans believe in at least one conspiracy theory, while 73% of Americans believe that conspiracy theories are currently out of control. So at the American core, we have the issue where we don't trust anything, but at the same time,
The CIA actually termed the term conspiracy theory to debunk stuff that was like actually really spot on, right?
we think everyone else are the crazy people. I'm not crazy. They are all crazy. I know what's
I saw
right.
that on the
Experts
YouTube
blame
shorts, so
our
it must be
mistrust
right.
of institutions on the exploitation of the internet. But guess what, baby? I am the internet. You're looking at a bunch of ones and zeros that break shit down to its most basic of components. So today, I'm gonna take off the tinfoil hat and get to the bottom of some
I don't know, where did the tinfoil hat stuff come from? Like, how is this meant to protect your brain?
of these conspiracies, or I'm gonna put it on. I don't know which one would I do. And if I'm gonna start
Put it
anywhere,
on.
it's gonna be with conspiracies that I think are probably or possibly true. And I think a great jumping on point would be the granddaddy of them all, the Illuminati. A lot of people have heard about the Illuminati, and most people think it's like, I don't know, an overarching concept. When something
I'm gonna tell you right now, I think the world is too divided for this to actually be a thing. Because why would a group of wealthy individuals join together to get more power, bro? Why don't they just get more power themselves, bro?
is shady and authoritarian, it's usually referred to as the Illuminati. Just like a blanket statement for everything Epstein-ish. But it turns out that the Illuminati is real.
I think that
It's
just
a real
means
thing.
Epstein.
Real thing that exists. That's okay. Or at least it was. It existed at one point. Sorry to pump fake you like that. The real conspiracy here is YouTube engagement. In the less than notable year of 1776, a little group called the Order of the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria. Creator Adam Weishaupt believed that the monarchy and the church were repressing freedom of thought and used the Order of the Illuminati to publish political satire to raise awareness of government corruption. So it was originally a group of people that wanted to get together and make fun of the government and religious powers that controlled them. So like pretty much the opposite of what everyone thinks the Illuminati is, so that's confusing. The original Illuminati was inspired by the Freemasons, another
People just bastardized it, I guess.
Their conspiracy theory mainstay and adopted their tiered structures and mysterious rituals. Unfortunately, powerful religious and government figures aren't known for their senses of humor, so the Illuminati was immediately in hot water off the bat. In the late 1780s, the Duke of Bavaria outlawed secret groups, making them punishable by death, which is crazy because that's a pretty nondescript definition. Like, I get on late at night secretly when my girlfriend goes to sleep so I can play, Dominion Online with the boys. Is that a secret group?
No.
Should I be put to death? Probably, for everything I just said. So that put a whole damper on the original Illuminati get-togethers, but the Duke of Cream Pies didn't kill it in its entirety. Nearly 2 centuries later, the hippies entered the scene, and they took the Illuminati torch and ran with it. During the Summer of Love, a sultry little text called the Principia Discordia started getting passed around. It parodied religious tracts with its own belief system, Discordianism, which worshipped Eris, the goddess of chaos. Oh yeah, now we're getting into the real scare the Christian shit. Let's go.
Ooh, so scary. Dungeons and Dragons. No, and I think the Satanic Scare or something like that in like the 90s or 80s, or maybe even like I think it bleeded into the 2000s, where Harry Potter, Pokemon, and like every like thick sci-fi or fictional stuff got demonized.
The point of the pamphlet was to create a sense of civil disobedience through, a bunch of hoaxes and pranks, basically, which in a way mirrored the beliefs of the original Illuminati. And in a strange moment of fate, Playboy writer Robert Anton Wilson loved that idea. He flooded Playboy with a bunch of fake letters to the editors about the Illuminati. There was also boobs in the magazine, which were also probably more interesting than what he was doing, but I can't talk about the boobs because this is YouTube. Chris, go ahead and put down the image of Extra Tug so people know I talk about boobs over there. Thank you so much. Eventually, Wilson went away and co-wrote a standalone book called the Illuminatus Trilogy, a book that would attribute government secrets like cover-ups and other evil shit to the made-up secretive group of the Illuminati. But if we zoom in on the cover of the book
this is like this book. This is some Scientology stuff, bro.
Secrets like cover-ups and other evil shit to the made-up secretive group of the Illuminati. But if we zoom in on the cover of the book here, you'll notice a little quote at the top from the Village Voice. The ultimate conspiracy book, hilariously raunchy, and the biggest sci-fi cult novel to come along since Dune.
Bro, this is literally just Scientology.
Sci-fi, science fiction, people didn't get that part. They didn't understand this was a joke. When they wrote this book, they apparently did too good of a job with their satire and world building because people took the bait hard as f. As the 21st century approached, ideas like the Illuminati and the New World Order became less satirical and more like a convenient explanation of growing inequality and subsequent feelings of powerlessness. Now, it's reasonable to look for a scapegoat nowadays because things are unbelievably shitty no matter what side of the aisle politically you lay on. The richest 1% have more than the bottom 99%, and it doesn't seem like one government representative gives a shit about that fact. There's also like the Supreme Court deciding that political free speech includes getting bribes, which that's a real thing and that no one's talking about that.
Yeah, Supreme Court. No,
really. And with all that going on, it's so fucking stupid to believe in the Illuminati, honestly. Listen, I get that it's fun to think that there are a secret group of people pulling the strings and making things get worse over time for their own financial benefit, but in reality, there is no secret group of people. We know who the people are. They're not trying to hide. Elizabeth Warren has made more money off of insider trading than fucking Warren Buffett. And everyone in Congress always votes against term limits, and they always vote against the interest of every American person. And that's just because all of them want power, and all of them want money. And they're all right there. You can see what they vote on every week. If we all just stop believing in a grand conspiracy and focus on the motherfuckers who are doing shit in broad daylight, the idea of an Illuminati is going to quickly dissipate. I mean,
yeah, bro, I'm just gonna tell you right now, this is not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. People are too divided to agree that the politicians are doing that. It's actually the politicians who are doing it. Everyone's like, hey, it's actually the Illuminati, not the politicians, bro. This is either you're not gonna stop the politicians. I'm telling you right now.
Jesus Christ. Sorry. Anyway, that got too political too quick for a Big Tug video. So let's talk about something a little bit more silly. Area 51.
Every video I've seen with you has been political.
So maybe shape-shifting reptilians aren't controlling our government, despite the fact that 4% of Americans believe that conspiracy.
Shape-shifting alien... No, I think it's not shape-shifting. I think it's... What's it called? Lizard people. Yeah, I think that's what's it called? Anti-Semitic call dog whistle
theory, but I don't have time for that one. But that doesn't mean there isn't something out in the
I heard that from a Jewish video.
cosmos. With all the shit coming out recently by the US government confirming that they keep seeing shit that they can't explain, clearly the question of extraterrestrial life is more
Bro, they literally confirmed that aliens exist.
pertinent than ever, which leads us to the supposed home base of alien cover-ups, Area 51. Area 51, for those of you who live under a granite slab, is a highly classified US Air Force facility in the middle of the desert of Nevada, where the US government performs top secret research. It's been around since 1955, but the US government has not confirmed its existence until 2013, so that's f***ing crazy. By all accounts, that's suspicious, at the very least. And the area around it is crazy. It's got like big fences and armed guards every 5 feet. But despite the fact that you can just go look at it, the American government denied its existence for over half a century. Nobody quite gaslights like Uncle Sam, and you gotta respect that hustle. According to conspiracy theorists, Area 51 isn't just a place where they test new weapons and aircraft. It's actually, allegedly, a place where recovered alien spacecraft and the bodies of its crew are kept. The original story started in 1947.
Maybe if that was true, I feel like they would do that stuff deep underground, where it's not, where you can't, like, see it from a satellite or on Google Earth.
Where unidentified debris ended up in a farmland in Roswell, New Mexico. The Roswell Army Airfield came and collected the debris, even releasing a statement regarding what they referred to as a flying disc. This reasonably made everyone think, was that a fucking alien? And the government realized, reasonably, that we can't let people think that, because that's a little crazy. The next day, officials changed their tune, claiming that the debris was actually just a weather balloon. A classic band-aid on any government whoopsie. Aliens landing in the desert? It's a weather balloon. Accidentally dropping a nuke in Georgia? It's a weather balloon. Everyone relax. In the 70s, an intelligence officer involved in the investigation claimed he had been ordered to keep quiet, and in 1980, the Roswell incident was published.
So one guy is like, so we're just gonna take the word of one guy and be like, oh, it's true.
A whole new generation on
This is literally how conspiracy theories are made, and this is a big conspiracy
to the supposed cover-up. And we can't talk about Area 51 without at least discussing a little bit of Robert Lazar, that our boy Bobby Lazar. Bob claimed to have been part of a classified project to reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology, and that he had read government briefings that described alien involvement in human affairs for over the past 10,000 years. And this is the part
people can just, like, lie. The past 10,000 years?
Bob claimed to have been part of a classified project to reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology, and that he had read government briefings that described alien involvement in human affairs for over the past 10,000 years. And this is the part where I don't really know what to say, because on one side of the aisle, you have a bunch of people saying that, everything he has said has been debunked, and on the other side, I believe him. I believe Bob Lazar. I don't know,
so he literally just was lying, bro.
Make up your decision for yourself. Go watch an interview with him. Go watch the Joe Rogan he got on. And Joe Rogan doesn't mention trans people in that one, so you're safe. But after decades of debate and denial, the plausibility of Area 51 came back.
How do you guys feel about Joe Rogan? I heard very different things from other sides of the spectrum,
into the mainstream after a bunch of weird shit started happening. In 2023, 3 military veterans testified at a congressional hearing about UFOs. They claimed that the US government operated a secret multi-decade reverse engineering program of recovered vessels, and they also claimed that non-human biologics have been recovered from alleged crash sites. This came on the heels of the release of declassified videos showing UFOs, now known as unidentified aerial phenomena, which, weird time to rebrand UFOs, but I'm not the government, so what would I know? So does this mean that Area 51 actually picked up an alien spacecraft and was testing that shit in the desert? Hey, well, it doesn't not mean that. But also, if the US government has been reverse engineering alien technology for the last 7 decades, how come I haven't seen any of that shit? How come you guys haven't been giving that to the people? I mean, for f***'s sake, the closest thing we've had to alien technology in the past 70 years is like, I don't know, the Fushigi?
It's here. It's wild. It's sweeping the
scam, bro. Those things do not work.
nation. It's Fushigi!
You gotta oil them up for real. Trust me. How this make you feel, white boy? How this make you feel, white boy?
Alright, now that we've gotten through that, let's talk about the probably not true conspiracies, because it's important to talk about stupid shit sometimes too. Up first, we have the moon landing, and more so the fact that it was fake, which is bonehead behavior. In one breath, conspiracy theorists think that we're reversing alien technology, and in the next, they say that the moon landing was faked. What the f***? And what's even crazier is that at the same time, the American government was, oh god, no. God, please don't make me talk about them again. I can't talk about the Soviets anymore. Putin is gonna push me out of a goddamn window. Conspiracy theories that the moon landing was staged by the US government started forming around.
Even the USSR wasn't like, hey, you guys didn't fake that. The USSR, which was our biggest enemy back in the day, back in the 1960s, they were our biggest enemy, and they were like, "No, you guys didn't fake it."
On the mid
Because they were searching everywhere for proof that we faked it, but they found nothing.
70s, with the general thesis being we staged the landing to win the space race with the Soviets. Unlike a lot of far-fetched conspiracies, these claims seem to be in good faith, but they've been pretty thoroughly disproven over 50 years. So let me just give you some talking points for the next time you run into one of these dipshits who doesn't believe the moon landing is fake, so you can, quickly end that
Doesn't believe.
conversation so your brain doesn't melt. Statement 1. Why does the flag wave in space when there's no wind or air to move it? Answer. The moon's surface is really bright. It's pretty much a white-gray color, and the sun's reflecting off that like freshly laid snow. So the camera's exposure is not going to be able to capture the stars. You can't see the Milky Way galaxy from fucking Times Square. Inquisitive statement. Why are the shadows cast
What? Wait, how's that prove anything?
the stars? You can't see the Milky Way off
How
that
that prove why does the flag move?
air to move it? Answer. The moon's surface is really bright. It's pretty much a white-gray color, and the sun's reflecting off that like freshly laid snow. So the camera's exposure is not going to be able to capture the stars. You can't see the Milky Way galaxy from fucking Times Square. Inquisitive statement. Why are the shadows cast at
What?
weird angles? Answer. The moon's uneven surface makes shadows weird. That's pretty much the basis of it. If you don't believe me, go to the moon. Inquisitive statement. How come you don't see the camera and the reflection of the astronaut's helmet? Answer. The camera was built into the space suits themselves. And also, if NASA was faking these fucking photos, you'd think they would just make him hold up a camera. They wouldn't forget that. But one of the craziest parts of this conspiracy is that they sometimes say that Stanley Kubrick, the guy who made fucking 2001: A Space Odyssey, they think he worked with the government to direct the moon landing on a soundstage. And they get this information from the fact that Stanley Kubrick left like clues in the movie The Shining. But like, it's been proven that in order to get the lighting that they needed to take those photos of like the actual sun, they would need to have crazy lighting fixtures that were not possible at the time. And even if they did have them,
Hey. Hold up. These are the same people that were like, hey, we have advanced alien technology, so maybe we could have made it with that alien technology. We could have done it with the alien technology that we took. Who knows?
the bulls would be so big and hot that everyone would be very unsafe. So yeah, that's stupid. The whole conspiracy is stupid. Stop saying it, because it's not true. And speaking of dumb things you have to stop talking about, we're gonna talk about chemtrails. That's a fucking stupid one. You know when a plane flies overhead on a sunny day and you can see like a kind of like a smoke coming out from back of it?
They're putting estrogen in that shit.
These are known to scientists as contrails and to dipshits as chemtrails. What's the difference? Well, one is a pretty boring science thing, and the other one is the government is dropping poison on people in order to make them gay or liberal or something along those lines. Contrails are simply trails of condensation that form when hot engine exhaust meets cold, low-pressure air at high altitudes. Snooze fest. But scientific fact has never even slowed a dip. Exhaust meets cold, low-pressure air at high altitudes. Snooze fest. But scientific fact has never even slowed a dipshit from saying stupid things out of their gaping mouths. In 1996, conspiracies surrounding these vapor trails took flight due to an Air Force research paper named Weather as a Force Multiplier Owning the Weather in 2025. Which, to be fair, concerning title for a research paper. The Air Force paper outlines how weather modification systems in the future could use aerospace forces to achieve military objectives. Once again, that was Jimmy writing. I cannot fucking think of a sentence that smart. However, the EPA has stated that it does not reflect current military policy, practice, or capabilities. But too late, cat's out of the bag. You can't
Yeah, they could just be lying, you know?
fucking declassify a document that sounds that scary without making the dum-dums all scared. And it doesn't help that the government has, in the future, fucked up the sky several times. I mean, for instance, during the Cold War, god damn it, the US and British governments conducted mock chemical warfare attacks, subjecting hundreds of thousands of people to zinc cadmium sulfide, a chemical thought to be non-toxic. But oopsie-doopsie, turns out repeated exposure to that chemical creates cancer. So, bro, I don't know why you would use that specifically. Why not just use, like, water or something?
They thought it was safe, so of course they would use it.
But just because the government historically up does not mean it's a conspiracy. Because, like, have you ever been up on a plane? Gets cold up there, guys. It gets real cold on the outside of airplanes. And then have you ever, breathed your hot breath out in the cold winter air? It doesn't make a little smoke? Okay, then the conspiracy debunked. Speaking of nincompoops, let's talk about 5G, the dumbest thing ever that people are afraid of. 5G conspiracies are the new kids on the block. Because it's a new thing, people are going to fear it. They did it with rock music, and technically they did it with Jesus and his whole vibe. And let's face it, you don't know how 5G works.
They crucified Jesus. What do you mean?
I don't know how 5G works. I don't know how Bluetooth works, or Wi-Fi, to be honest. Honestly, I don't even really fundamentally understand a toaster. And unless you're a nerd in the comment section writing out a paragraph trying to explain to me how those things work, which I will not read because reading makes me sleepy, then you don't understand vital aspects of technology. And that's okay. It's actually pretty pretty normal to not understand how everything works in this modern era. It's
I
like
didn't make it.
access
Why
to
would I
all
be
information because of the
understandable?
internet makes everyone feel like they should know everything about everything. But in all honesty, that would physically be impossible, or at the very least, a large waste of your time. But that's where the
It would be possible. It would just take a lifetime.
conspiracy starts, because instead of accepting the fact that some things require you having a very specialized college degree to understand, conspiracy theorists start asking a bunch of questions in the name of research. And by the end of the whole thing, you arrive at the conclusion that WebMD arrives at, which it's cancer. These things are giving everyone cancer. It's cancer, everybody, go home. But the thing is, 5G isn't that complicated. In fact, it's a little outdated in a weird sense. 5G utilizes radio waves to transmit data. You know, that thing FDR was using for his fireside chats, meaning it falls within the radio frequencies of electromagnetic radiation. But then you say the word radiation and people fucking freak out. But my god, there has literally never been a link
It's just a different thing. It's ionizing radiation is the bad one.
between electromagnetic radiation and cancer. It doesn't happen. So fucking relax. You're making everyone think we're stupid by saying shit like that. Please just relax. And then the biggest fucking dumb shit of all time is flat earth theory, and this one physically makes me angry to hear about. The earth is not flat. Stop saying the earth is fucking
Hey, bro, it might be flat. Who knows? Do you have any proof? You got any proof, huh? Got any proof?
flat, okay? How has the most important invention of all of humanity, the internet, the information highway, the modern Library of Alexandria, how has the internet sent our collective intellect careening thousands of years into the past? We literally figured out that the earth was round in year 5. We were 5 years into this shit and we figured that out.
How would they figure it out?
But around
in year 5 without no internet, huh? How would they do that?
15, the fridge conspiracy that the earth was flat started gaining momentum somehow. But hey, f it.
It probably started as a joke on the internet. Then people were like, whoa, hold up.
I'm open-minded. How do you flat earthers justify this conspiracy? Well, you see, they look out over the horizon like at the ocean and they think it should curve like a ball, and it doesn't. So the earth is flat? Are you guys fucking idiots? I mean, first of all, the horizon does curve. That's when you see a ship go over the horizon and it disappears.
No, it's not curving. It's just getting smaller.
It went around the earth, around, like a round ball. And since the basis of their belief is fucking moronic, they have to come up with a bunch of other shit to explain all the other things going on. They think Antarctica is not a continent. They think it's an impenetrable wall that goes around the entire disk of Earth, I think. And you know the other planets in the solar system? Those are spheres. Those are orbs. Those
No. They're flat too, bro. He's misrepresenting us, bro.
are globes. But the Earth is not. For some reason. But how could such a patently false, thoroughly debunked conspiracy gain momentum? Well, in all honesty, you've been believing everything I've said so far, and I'm a charismatic dunce, so we're both part of the problem here. Many people who believe this theory claim that YouTube introduced them to it. And they started out watching conspiracy videos, and then the algorithm did its thing and fed them more and more conspiracy videos.
Okay, so this guy is literally just admitting. Do you remember when he said he admitted to saying a racial slur for black people? He's just admitting he's putting people down the pipeline.
And now we have people believing shit that the Pilgrims thought was asinine. What the fuck is going on? Now, all that being said, I have to throw some goodies at the conspiracy theorists because sometimes this shit turns out to be true. For example, we have the Canadian gaydar. That's a real thing that happened. In 19...
Yeah, and they got... And I think it didn't work. You know, I don't think a machine can be like, hey, this guy's gay as fuck.
1961, the Canadian government hired Carleton University professor Frank Robert Wake to develop gaydar. And no, this isn't anything other than what you think it is. It is exactly what you're thinking. A machine that can...
You think with the technology now, you think we could make a real gaydar?
And sniff out a gay man like a drug dog at a gay pride parade. Of course, at the time, they didn't call it gaydar. That would be too uncouth. No, they decided...
We called it the F slur?
To call it the much more offensive fruit machine. That was the actual title they gave it.
A fruit? Oh.
Fruit
That's not that bad,
machine.
bro.
These officials believed homosexuals had character weakness which made them disloyal and easily
The fruit machine. Why every Canadian should learn about this country's gay purge.
manipulated. Basically, they thought communists were gay. They thought that's what that was.
Let me check this. Invent the fruit dar to find gay communist. No, Canada did not invent something called the fruit dar to find gay communists. However, during the Cold War, roughly from the late 1940s to the early 1990s, Canada did create the fruit machine. It was part of a broader campaign to remove LGBT people from positions of influence based on the belief that they were susceptible to blackmail by Soviet spies and therefore opposed to security. Oh, so they were like, hey, people who are gay are like, hey, don't tell them I'm gay. But then the communists would be like, hey, I'm going to tell people if you're gay, you don't spy.
And I mean, the first half of that was demonstrably false, but also gay communists, that's like 90% of what it was.
Oh,
and
so
I
he
mean, the
just
first
lied.
half of that was communism. They thought communists were gay. They thought that's what that was. And I mean, the first half of that was demonstrably false, but also gay communists, that's like 90% of Williamsburg. Wake experimented by forcing subjects to look at same-sex smut while measuring how much their pupils dilated. And I mean,
And wouldn't they just like, why do you look at the pupils and not like down there, and see if they just got hard?
I'm not an expert, I'm not a professor, but if I were to measure something on a male's body to see if they were turned on by gay smut, wouldn't be the pupils. Seems like he missed a huge objective there. But also, he probably thought if he was going to be measuring penises, that would make him gay and therefore a commie, so he probably avoided that. Obviously, the fruit machine was abandoned and didn't work, but the study and the prevailing ideas that were behind it cost hundreds of people their jobs and fed into the culture of homophobia while sowing seeds of distrust amongst the population. So way to go, Canada. You guys are supposed to be cool and you're fucking up. And then we have Project
It's supposed to be cool, bro. They've been known to do weird shit.
Sunshine. That sounds fun. I'm sure that's not going to be horrible at all. In 1955,
Are they gonna try and take the sun? Is that what they're trying to do, or block the sun?
University of Chicago professor Dr. Willard Libby was in charge of Project Sunshine. His goal was to measure the amount of radioactive isotopes that were being absorbed by humans because of nuclear testing. Simple enough. How does this go wrong, you wonder? Well, he claimed that there was huge gaps in his data because it was hard to obtain human samples, particularly samples of children. Uh-oh, is that the comic book level mad scientist alarm going off? That's f***ing why is that doing that? So not only did he say he needed
He literally inspired. I don't think he's a comic book. He inspired the comic book
supply
villains.
of radiated children, but also motherfuckers listened to him. Over 1,500 samples were gathered, and by samples I mean body snatchers. People were digging up dead bodies. Shout out to the mad scientist.
That's not that
This
bad.
video I made earlier about the body snatchers, but you guys didn't watch that one. It didn't perform, so I don't blame you for not knowing what I'm talking about. They were taking dead bodies, cadavers, and most of them were babies or children. And then in 1960, Libby would win the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Did I mention these things make people distrust the government? And there's just so much shit that turns out to be actually true, and it's all fucking super fucked up. Listen, the government is lying to you. We all know that. We all know the government lies all the time. And yes, rich people control everything. We know these things. But don't let that fool you. Most of the conspiracies are bad and not good, and they make people look stupid. But no matter how much information there is to debunk it, people end up just not caring. Like that one poster you saw in a dorm room, I wanna believe. So enjoy your theories. Just know that you look like a dipshit when you bring up these theories in high school in the back of your mom's friend's sedan. New videos every Wednesday.
Okay, that's gonna be the end of this video. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye 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 bye.